Hey everybody, it's Doug Schauf with Remax Oceanside of MakeMaineYourHome.com. In this week's episode of the Make Maine Your Home podcast, I'm going to talk about buying or selling in the fall, in autumn. Here in Maine, fall is a lot of people's favorite season. It's beautiful with the leaves changing. The weather's getting, it's cooling down, but not too cold. A lot of people love fall, especially here in Maine. So I'm going to talk about a few things regarding selling. I'm going to give you 4 reasons to sell this fall, why you should sell, and then a bunch of reasons on why you should consider buying this fall. Of course, that's if you're thinking about it. So anyway, let's do this. All right, guys, I'm going to jump right in. First thing I'll talk about is selling. 4 reasons to sell this fall. Now, this is an infographic that I got from a service that I use called Keeping Currents Matter, and it's a service that I use just to kind of help me stay informed of what's happening, not just nationwide, but locally as well in the real estate market. So, they came out with this infographic, says 4 reasons to sell this fall. And it's funny, the reason I thought about doing this podcast right now is because this is the time of year that I always get people asking, like, hey, when's the best time to sell? Winter's coming. Here in Maine, when winter comes, everybody starts to hibernate, all that kind of stuff. Although I love winter. I get outside, ice skate, all that stuff. And although a lot of people go skiing, head up to Sugarloaf and Sunday River, stuff like that. But anyway, people ask me this time of year, hey, is it a good time to sell? I mean, geez, it's fall, winter's coming, blah, blah, blah. Fall over the last few years when the market has been hot has been a great time to sell. And these are a couple reasons just really overall why to sell right now versus waiting until next spring. And you'll see here, I'll just go through this list and we'll talk about each one of them. So number 1, it says buyer demand is still strong. This is so true, especially, it depends on, what town you're in, where you're located, of course, what price points you're in, things like that. But overall, the market is still very strong. And some details that's, written here on this infographic is, buyers are still out in force looking for their dream home. According to NAR, the National Association of Realtors, listings were only on the market for an average of 31 days last month. So you can see properties are still selling very quickly, and very specific, like hyper local here. If you are considering selling, even if you're like talking about it next year, you may want to consider it, right now. And I'm happy to sit down with you and kind of show you the value of your place and what the days on market are in your neighborhood, because it might be a lot lower than 31 days. Anyway, number 2 is there is less competition right now. So a lot of people, and if you're watching this because you're thinking about selling, a lot of people like yourself are thinking about it and they're not necessarily acting on it right yet. A lot of people wait until spring. That's like a common thing. Like, I'm going to wait till spring to put it on and hit the spring selling season. But right now in the fall, there's less competition. Inventory is still very low. You can watch other podcasts that I've done, or, if you pay attention to what I've been saying, inventory is very low. And here in the fall, and as we go towards the end of the year and into winter, inventory gets lower and lower and lower as we go through that, which means there's less competition. The buyers that are out there are like, there's not much to look at, of course. So they look at your house and hopefully move forward with it, that type of thing. So let's see. Just see what here it says. It says housing inventory is still under the 6-month supply that is needed for a normal housing market. Again, if you look at previous podcasts, you'll see that I talk a lot about months worth of inventory and how that's calculated and all that stuff. I won't go into that right now, but that's a big reason to look at selling, here in the fall, is because competition gets lower. Now, number 3, and this one's interesting because I'm going to talk a little bit about it when I get to why it's a good time to buy right now. But it says there will never be a better time to move up. Prices are projected to go up by about 5.4% over the next year, which means if you're moving up to a higher price home, it'll wind up costing you more in both down payment and mortgage if you wait. See, a lot of people don't don't consider that when they're looking at also, moving up or even downsizing. I guess that it kind of goes both ways. But if you're looking to move up, it can affect you, of course, the longer you wait with the way the market's going, because prices go up. I've seen some people just say, geez, I can't do it now because I can't afford what I want anymore. So you don't want to end up in that situation, so you really want to look at that. As far as where prices are going, where interest rates are going, things like that. So it really can affect what you're doing for your next house. And number 4 is it time to move on with your life? And this is kind of like just an overall thing. If you are starting to consider moving, is it time to just move on with your life? Whether you have something going on or if you're just, having a life change and you just want to, move on and go on with your life, it might be the time to do that. It might make some sense. And that's where, I can help out if you're considering and you want to talk about it. It's never too early to talk about it. I'm happy to sit down and look at your situation and see, if it is time to move on. Because once you start thinking about moving, then it just then it gets a little more like, hey, let's look at the logistics. When is the right time? And right now might be the right time for you. So anyway, that's the 4 reasons to sell this fall, this infographic. And, if you want to download a copy of it, just send me an email or comment below and I'll send it over to you. I'll try to put it in the comments or whatever and, post it with these videos. So anyway, I'll move on to buying in the fall. So I have another infographic from the same organization that I work with. It talks about, should I buy now or wait until next year? And this is kind of interesting. Up here at the top, it shows, hey, what's going on right now? So interest rates, 3.6%, which is just crazy. And then home prices. Let's say you're looking at a $250,000 house. Your mortgage payment on that would be, and don't quote me on this, I'm not using a calculator. This is just what's on this sheet. Is your payment would be $1,136. So that's your mortgage payment. So if you wait till next year, here's what everybody's projecting is next year interest rates will climb a little bit, 3.8%. So it goes up, 0.2%. Home prices, though, if they grow where expected, that of course it has been over the last few years, and there's no reason that it shouldn't grow again. So now the $250,000 house turns into $263,500, which now puts your mortgage payment at $1,227. So basically $100 a month. And then down this lower section kind of gives you the exact numbers here. So if you waited monthly, you're basically tacking on $91.19. You're basically tacking that on. It's kind of funny. They have little, what does that do for you? That pays for your daily coffee, Friday night sushi. I don't know, Friday night sushi, $100. So annually, though, it's $1,000.94. That could be a weekend getaway, could pay off some credit card debt. And over 30 years, it'll cost you $32,828, which, of course, the example they give is, do you really want to spend that much money, more money on your house? So anyway, it's when the market is going up like this and interest rates are still low or even projected to go up with the market, it's always a good time to look at, let's try to get you a house right now, because as things go up, eventually you're not going to be able to afford what you really want and all that stuff, and it could make sense right now. And again, the best thing to do is reach out to me. I'm happy to chat with you and kind of sit down with you, get you in touch with a lender, kind of figure out exactly, what works for you right now. And I know, like when we were talking about selling a house, we're talking about low inventory, and I understand that, you might be sitting here saying, I'd love to buy a house right now, but there's nothing on the market. I've said this before in previous podcasts. I can find your house. If we sit down and you're committed and you're, hey, I want to move right now. I want to find a house. Let's do this. I can make things happen. There's ways of going about finding a house in this market. Knocking on doors, sending out postcards, talking to other brokers. I could do a lot of work to find you a property, to find you your dream home. Okay, so even though you're jumping on all these websites to search for a house and you don't see a lot, we can make it happen. So anyway, hopefully this was helpful, guys. Let me know if you have any questions. Comment below. Send me an email. Give me a call, whatever you'd like. And remember, if you're going to make Maine your home, you don't have to do it alone.